Haley, open the door.
I think we're all here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shh. Could I have your attention, please? Although I know that Henry will do the same as we begin our Thanksgiving assembly, our second all-school assembly of the year, let me welcome our alums, past faculty, and others who are here today to celebrate with us. Could you join me in giving them a round of applause, please? Many people know that Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday of the year, and I particularly enjoy our assemblies around it. And today, as we think about gratitude and giving thanks, I think you're in for quite a treat as you get to hear from any number of our students, both in terms of thoughts they'll share, but also in terms of songs that will be performed. And we look forward to all of it. Before we do that, I do want to take a moment to acknowledge the good fall that we have had, and to, in this particular moment, acknowledge all of our seniors, juniors, sophomores, freshmen who participated, played a role in the fall plays this last week. Could they stand so we could give them a round of applause? I'm happy to say that the snow of Thursday did not deter them. It was just, or actually of Wednesday, but and all. And we'll look forward, of course, to the musical this winter. And unless I'm mistaken, am I right? That we'll also, as we perform, we'll be competing in a local competition for the first time. Is that right? You looking forward to it? Yeah. Give all of those wonderful round of applause. And I will, because we're right in that transition time and literally just began our winter season, take a moment to thank all of our fall athletes and our winter athletes for representing the school with such pride, hard work, and terrific attitude, and doing it the way we think is important. Could we ask them to stand and give them a round of applause, please? Nate, I'm happy to announce, Nate, you're the only athlete in the group because you're the only one who stood. But it's okay. Everybody. So it's always nice to be listened to when you're up here. It's a really good thing. At this particular point, as I do welcome you to the assembly, and I ask you to give some careful thought to what Thanksgiving is about as we try hard today to represent what it means in this community. And I can't imagine anyone better to start us off than our all-school president. Henry, would you come forward, please?
Good afternoon. Before I get started, I want to welcome back all of our alumni who have returned for Thanksgiving break in this assembly today. Could we give them all a round of applause? Personally, I don't wait until the new year to reflect. I think the best time of year to reflect is Thanksgiving. You see, I don't think of the year from January to January. I think of it from November to November. And I haven't yet had the chance to get too nostalgic this year, although I'm sure that time will come. But as I was writing this speech, some nostalgia did creep in. This Thanksgiving assembly has always been my favorite all-school assembly, as I've seen 13 all-school presidents speak before me and give great speeches about what this time of year means to them. But like I said, for me, this time of year, more than anything, is a time of reflection. Personally, I've gotten to see 13 all-school assemblies on Thanksgiving, starting just 14 short years ago. I was a pre-K student sitting on the floor, cross-legged like these pre-Kers are here today. And with each successive year, I would get just a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger, and I would continue to move just one row back, like the kindergartners sitting behind the pre-Kers today, and the first graders sitting behind the kindergartners. But today, I can't help but realize that I find myself right back in the front row, with my fellow classmates directly across from the pre-K students, like 14 years ago. And so for me, Thanksgiving is a time for me to reflect, but not so much about how I've grown over the past year or the past 14 years, but how Shipley and our community have grown over what has almost been 2 decades. I've seen us grow from the old dining hall to the Shipley Commons, from the old library in the history wing to the learning and research center, from the art rooms to the STEAM and coding rooms, from the grass fields to turf and tennis courts and the garage. But more so than recognizing how far Shipley has come over these past 14 years, I can't help but be extremely thankful and appreciative that I've gotten to be a part of this community, a community where your math teacher is willing to stay 5 minutes after class to help you understand a concept that maybe you did not understand the first time, a history teacher who shows up to your soccer game unprompted, just to cheer you on, where the head of school does not just come to one musical performance, but to all 5, a community in which fellow students share notes and collaborate and take time to make sure you're okay when you look upset, a place where John Roberson, one of the members of our physical plant team, always takes the time to say have a good afternoon when I'm walking out of school. A school where Mrs. Weinstock in the college counseling office always asks me how my day is going and offers me a piece of candy. For the countless friends, teachers, and administrators who take the time to get to know me, care about me, and take a genuine interest in me, I am so thankful. For all of the little things that some may think go unnoticed, because I notice these small acts of kindness, and they make all the difference. At the end of the day, I have become so thankful and so appreciative of this community that is filled with people who do small acts of kindness every single day, and that one by one add up to make Shipley the great community that it is. My name is Henry Katz, and I'm your all-school president. Thank you. And one more thing, at 2:45, the junior versus senior football game will be going on. There's going to be a food truck. Please come out to watch the seniors beat the juniors.
Hello, my name is Kate Scott, and I'm a senior.
Hi, my name is Sydney Nagorski, and I'm also a senior.
As many of you know, Shipley had our annual Thanksgiving food drive this morning. Over the last week, the upper school held a fundraiser to help pay for the cost of the food.
5 teachers participated, and students were able to put donations into separate jars with the teachers' names written on them. Whichever teacher's jar raised the most money would shave their head at assembly. Thank you to Mr. Frankel, who agreed to do this and raised almost $1,000 in his jar to provide families with Thanksgiving meals. Where is he? You should stand up. Should I say that?
Here are some pictures from this week where we unloaded the food that we used to pack the meals this morning. We raised over $11,000, and we will provide 225 meals to our partnering organizations.
Thanks again for helping, and we hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving.
Good afternoon. My name is Carlos Casilla. I'm the middle and upper school choral director here at Shipley. Behind me is the 7th and 8th grade choir, and we will be singing Sing We a New Song, arranged by Greg Gilpin.
At this time, I'd like to welcome two of Shipley's newest fourth graders who will be talking about gratitude.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Johnny Everman. I'm in the fourth grade, and this is my first year here at Shipley. I am so happy and proud to be at Shipley. There are a lot of reasons Shipley is an amazing school. We have nice places to play during recess in lower school. Outside, we have a gaga pit and a mini basketball court. We also have a turf field. At my old school, we only had a blacktop, a playground, and a giant patch of grass with soccer goals. I also love indoor recess bombardment and the opportunity to play with my friends. Another thing I appreciate about Shipley is I have my own laptop at school. Having my own laptop lets me get to my work right away when I need to. At my old school, we had to share computers and one was not always available. The academic work at Shipley is really challenging, but challenging in a good way. I really like math. This unit we're working on multiplication with really big numbers, beginning long division. Spanish is also great. Social studies is so interesting. We learned about William Penn. He was a Quaker from England who came to America and helped colonize Pennsylvania. The field trips in fourth grade are awesome. My favorite one was overnight at the college settlement. Before the trip, I was the classroom monitor and I had a hard time warning people because I didn't know them. After the trip, I felt more comfortable because I got to know everyone. I really like all the kids in the fourth grade and being part of the Shipley community. One of the things I appreciate most is I have great teachers here to help me whenever I need them. My teachers are really creative. They are smart and they make learning fun. At Shipley, people listen to students and they value students' ideas. I've only been here for 1 year, but I am already thankful that Shipley is a great school, that I love Shipley, and I'm thankful for everything I have.
Hi, my name is Leela Chetkov. I'm in 4th grade, and this is my first year at Shipley. There are many things I'm grateful for. One of the things I'm most grateful for at Shipley are my teachers and their support. All of my wonderful teachers make me feel so special in their classrooms and value my ideas. They work with everyone individually and help us grow. Making learning fun is what they do all the time, and they can be really funny. I'm also grateful for my friends. They are very inclusive and open to anyone new. The transition in the beginning of the year was so easy, and I thank them for that. There is always someone fun, bright, and exciting to hang around. The community around Shipley is so strong and powerful, helping me to fully participate in school to the best of my ability. I'm grateful for the Shipley community because all the students feel a strong love for their school. The academics here are great. I feel challenged and I learn a lot. Some of my favorite subjects are social studies and writing. I love studying American history, and I love expressing my ideas in writing. I also like publishing my writing. I have reading, and I love the 4th grade long-term projects, particularly the book reports. I'm grateful for C class because of its unique importance, the exciting games and activities we do together, and when I leave the classroom, I feel good about myself. I am also grateful for 4th grade ensemble. I already play the piano, and I'm very interested in music, so having a chance to learn a new instrument, the cello, is very exciting. Finally, I'm grateful for my book buddy in 1st grade. My book buddy loves when I come, and she brightens my day. I'm grateful for being at Shipley and enjoy every day spent here.
My name is Ruby Flynn and I'm in the 8th grade. As I hope we all know by now, this year is Shipley's 125th 1894. During the Panic of 1893, when the unemployment rate in the U.S. had risen to 20%, around 18% of the people between the ages of 10 and 15 worked. As you can imagine, we have come a long way since then. The 8th graders this year have recently finished studying the Industrial Revolution. On the left is a picture of 2 young children working a water frame in a factory. Children as young as our Shipley kindergartners would work for anywhere between 12 and 19 hours per day. Children were more commonly hired to work in factories because they were so small, therefore earned little or no pay to support their families. This was also very dangerous, considering the equipment and machinery that was being used was very large and heavy. I remember last year in 7th grade studying Lewis Hine and the impact he had on child labor. Lewis Hine was an amazing photographer who used his skill to change the world. On the right is a picture taken by Lewis Hine of a young girl working in a dirty factory. Lewis Hine photographed children working in breathtaking conditions during World War I in this country.
Hello, my name is Justin Powell, and I'm in the 8th grade also. Here is a picture of young children working in a factory operating a dangerous machine. This was one of the most famous pictures taken by Lewis Hine, and as Ruby said, he was a great influence around the world for child labor rights. People were forced to think about how society treated children and if it was appropriate for them to work under such conditions. This is the number of kids in the room that would be working in factories or coal mines. This is very alarming to think 125 years ago, most of the kids in this room would have been working in factories. If you think about it in terms of Shipley, everyone in the middle and upper school would be working except for, expected to work and would not be able to receive an education. I feel very grateful that I am alive today and not in 1893.
The lower school would like to share the Shipley Gator song with you today, and I encourage any middle or upper school students who would like to join along to please do.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Caroline Milgram, and I'm a junior. And I'm Lindsay, and I'm also a junior.
We are both juniors who partake in the Positive Pause program at the Andrew Jackson School in South Philly. Positive Pause is a weekly program that runs for 3 sessions during the school year, and each week an amazing team of upper school students take a van down to meet with the kids, forming special bonds that last beyond the season. Our goal is to nurture and love these amazing kids, and inspired by Mrs. Van, I would like to share a poem with you today. Positive Pause. A place of kindness, respect, adoration, full of running, skipping, jumping, a school and education, energy always pumping curiosity, love of learning, children with endearing smiles, joy and kindness always churning, happiness for miles. Silly laughs and giggles, teachers that support and care, Macarena, hand claps and wiggles, where children love to share. Colorful orange and green walls in the hustle and bustle of Philly, big paws and little paws, where it is always okay to be super silly. Where everyone is special, many races, cultures, and backgrounds, music, math, mindfulness at its threshold, where a musical band resounds. With jungle gyms that are fun, that Caroline and I love, where paws run under the sun. Granted to us as a gift from above, we go on Tuesdays to meet, where we love to play and roam. 1213 South 12th Street, a place we call our home.
Shipley students teach a weekly lesson to these first graders geared towards monthly values such as trust, kindness, and honesty. After, we join together for more fun on the playground, either playing on the jungle gym, tag, or family. The first graders and upper schoolers alike are so excited when we arrive after school. It is such a joy and privilege to get to spend time with these kids. Here's a video Lindsay and I made to show our thankfulness for them.
1, 2, 3.
Hi, my name is Gavin Rasmussen. I'm a senior, and we are going to be singing, a group of upper school performers are going to be singing One Day More from Les Miserables, so come on up.
One day more, another day, another destiny, this never-ending road to Calvary. These men who seem to know my crime will surely come a second time, one day more.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
One day more.
Tomorrow you'll be worlds away, and yet with you my world has started. One more day
before the storm.
Should I follow where she goes?
At the barricades of freedom.
Shall I join my brothers there?
When our ranks begin to fall.
Do I stay or do I dare?
Will you take your place with me?
Is now and then is near. One more day till revolution. We will nip it in the bud. We'll be ready for these schoolboys. They will wet themselves with blood.
Watch them run amok, catch them as they fall. Never know your luck when there's a free-for-all. Here a little dip, there a little touch. Most of them are goners, so they won't miss much.
One day to a new beginning. Every man will be a king. There's a new world for the winning. Do you hear the people sing? My place is here. I fight with you.
One day more.
People's heroes.
One more day I'll learn my own.
Just one
One day more.
What a life I might have known.
Tomorrow will be far away. Tomorrow is the judgment day.
Tomorrow we'll discover what our God in heaven has in store.
One more dawn. One more day. One day more. Thank you. Thank you.
I must admit that as I've taken in today's assembly, I've been overwhelmed. You guys are terrific. Can we give them one more round of applause? Can we also give thanks to those who have shared their thoughts and done such a good job, and wonderful piece on Andrew Jackson. And if you saw the video, you noticed in the background actually the gym, which has been redone as part of the Ezra project, so the connection to the school is special. But can we give everybody here a round of applause? Thank you. And Justin and you, we have come far since 125 years ago, but it doesn't mean we're there yet. We have a lot further to go. Thanks. And fourth graders, we're glad you feel as good as you do about your experience. We're certainly glad you're here. And Henry, I'll say a little bit more in a moment, but I'm a little nervous about your prediction in the senior-junior football game. I guess we'll see where that will go. Whichever team wins that game, and I guess there's both two different games. If the same team wins both games, we'll have a very large pizza party for that team. So good luck. All right. Before I actually say some things about Thanksgiving and Shipley and our 125th, I do, as we always do at this assembly and every other, take a moment to acknowledge birthdays that are right around now. So what I'd like to do is to acknowledge those students who are celebrating this week and colleagues, and then note those 4 people who are actually celebrating today. And I'm going to ask one of them to come forward and I'll explain that. But students and colleagues this week: Sophia Famo, Rachel Zammer, Electric Ballas, Ray Devine, Rashan Nagar, Stephanie Mata, Laura Eschker, and Margie Winters. If we could give them all a round of applause. And if I could ask Sarah Kakita Grant Williams, Allie Morrison, and Leah Greer, our new associate in the Develop office. If I could ask her to please come forward so we can welcome her because she's brand new this week. And if they could all stand so we can sing happy birthday to them. Leah, are you here? Sarah, Grant, and Allie have been here long enough that the chance of this winding up on their birthday was pretty good because it's around Thanksgiving. But for Ms. Greer to show up this week and be celebrating, happy birthday again. So, Thanksgiving is such an important and wonderful time. And as Henry has both said and lived, it's not necessarily the big things that matter, the little ones. And I'm incredibly grateful in the words that you shared, Henry, that you talked about the growth of the school as you did. But most importantly, it really isn't about the buildings. It really isn't about the big things we see and can appreciate in an open and easy way each day, but about the things that happen inside those buildings and in the friendships and in the relationships that mean so much here at the school. Shipley has long been committed to be a school that finds a way to give back. So for example, and we will talk about it a little bit more in a few minutes, everybody knows that the turkey drive is an important part of what we do. But the truth is, we started collecting turkeys and giving turkeys out back in the 1960s and made it a very active part of what we do over the last 30 years on an ongoing basis. And some of the things you want to know is that as far back as the First World War, we had students, and please remember we were all girls' school at the time, who knitted socks and scarves for the soldiers who fought in the war. We had Shipley students who throughout any number of different times have supported schools in other countries, one particularly in China that was started by an alum there. During World War II, even before we joined into the war, students at Shipley actually raised funds to buy an ambulance to be sent to England. They ripped up the iron fence around the campus to be melted down for armaments. In conjunction with those activities and what might now be called service learning here at Shipley, they studied the movements of troops in Europe and practiced domestic chores in order to be of help. In the 50s and 60s, we participated in the American Field Service in work camps to make sure we could play productive roles for those who were suffering. And then in the 60s, of course, we were a major part. In fact, Miss Spear, the head mistress at the time, actually had a major role in the starting of Bryn Mawr tutoring, which still goes on. And then SOS, which was our precursor to service learning, started to build a school in the 60s in Thailand, and in the 70s and 80s got involved in programs that we still know of today. During the Iraq War, middle school students, and that's not as long ago as you might think, wrote to service people on the way back and actually got letters back from them. And then in the 90s, we moved into something really, really, really important, which is our concept of service learning, which we get to see the integration of the work we do with what we learn. We've begun to play a more active role with the Braintree Elementary School in Uganda, the Andrew Jackson School. Of course, the Think Care Act project is a fundamental part. There are so many things that we find ourselves involved in. But I'm going to take us back to what Henry said, that with all those things we do, it's the little things, being on the sidelines, for example, for the Special Olympics, being there to help give back to people who might not have it, that make the biggest difference here in school. Of course, I've already referred to things from the past, but for a moment, I do want to reflect on the turkey drive or the food drive of this particular year. Having had the privilege to, in fact, be part of the filling of the bags this afternoon, I was incredibly touched by the remarkably honest, open, and committed effort that so many people here in the community were making towards it. As I watched probably 100+ people putting the bags together, a number of them said that perhaps the most important and best part was just interacting with each other as they did it. And while it's nice to receive accolades for it, it's important to take pride in the act itself. And I do want to say that I feel incredibly fortunate that while we were doing this today, any number of the TV channels here were actually filming some of what went on. And at this particular moment, I'm going to ask Mr. McDonald to play one of the spots that played on local TV.
Let's get out to Shipley School. That's in Bryn Mawr, right? Shipley School?
Montgomery County.
They are hard at work this morning stuffing 225 bags. Lauren Johnson's there.
I molded her.
There's a trophy with her name on it that I
On your
Hey
hot.
guys, sorry, I was eavesdropping and listening and trying to figure everything out. Sydney, head of service, is joining me. You're going to walk me through what's happening here today. This is a big operation, by the way.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and we're just getting everything packed right now.
So what's the first step here?
So the first step is to grab a checklist so that you know what goes in every single box.
Okay.
And then you grab a bag.
And you're grabbing 2 bags, because one of them is just for the turkey and the foil pan that it goes in. And what are you guys stuffing in the other part, or the other bag?
In the other bag, we have stuffing that goes in, chicken broth, cranberry sauce, mac and cheese, yams, potatoes, juice pouches, gravy, string beans, carrots, apples, oranges, and a bag that has candy in it with a little letter that was written by the younger students that goes to every family.
Oh yeah, I saw the younger students up working on the letters and the tables over there. So the letter goes in there with all the ingredients. Now you made me hungry, but you also made me full. This is an entire Thanksgiving meal.
Yes, it's everything that they would need to have a Thanksgiving meal. We think it's really important that whether you could afford a meal or not, everyone deserves to sit down with their family and have a home-cooked, delicious meal for Thanksgiving.
How many of these bags are you guys putting together today, Sydney?
We're putting together, I think, almost 300 bags, which should feed about 1,000 people.
That is amazing work. And this is only happening for an hour, and you guys are getting a lot done.
Yeah. So we have our 4 partner organizations over there that we're sending a good amount of the bags to, and it looks like they're almost finished.
It looks like it. What did the bags say on there?
They say,
sending thanks, joy, and peace. Happy Thanksgiving, the Shipley School. How awesome is this? You guys have been doing something like this since the 60s, I heard.
Yeah, this has been happening every single year for most of Shipley's history, and I've been packing food since I've been at Shipley, which is since pre-K, and it's a really big thing that we do every year. People get really excited about it, and it's really nice.
One of the teachers told me this is her favorite day of the entire school year.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites for sure.
And so do all the grades come in and participate in some way with this?
Yeah, so we have lower schoolers come up with their teachers, middle schoolers come up, and then high schoolers, if you have a free period or you can get out of class, everyone comes and helps. All the teachers are here, coaches, it's a really big community event.
What do you say to people who maybe don't know you guys did this and they're going to receive one of these bags? What would you like to say to one of those families?
I would like to say that I hope they have a great Thanksgiving, and I think that it's just really important that you eat a meal with your family and celebrate the holiday. So I really hope that they enjoy what's in their bag and that they have a great meal with their families.
That's sweet of you, Sydney. Thank you so much for your time. I know you got to get back to work. Mike, Alex, and Karen, this is a true labor of love for these students here, at the Shipley School. So it's amazing to see. I'm actually in the middle of the way, and I need to get out of this area. It's a lot.
Thrown into a bag, the turkey. Teaching some good lessons there, too. That's for sure.
So, well, it's nice to have them here. I want to take a formal moment to thank Sydney, Kate. Is Ms. Winters here? Could I ask you all to stand, and our entire service organization to stand, and everybody to thank. And while we do some of the big things, I've already mentioned there were those smaller things that get done. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge one of our students, Aiden Peterson. Aiden, would you stand? This is a picture that actually shows up in the Inquirer today. For those who don't know it, one of the things that Aiden does on a regular basis, we get to hear him play wonderful music in lots of different ways, but it's to play taps at the funerals of service people. And this particular service, I believe, is in memory of somebody who's identified some 75 years actually after he passed and all, but Those little things make a huge difference to people in life, and Aiden and others who do them. Can we give them a round of applause, please? So as we move into Thanksgiving, I want us to take a moment to think about what it is that each of us will do that will make a little bit of difference. As you do that, I'd like to share just a couple of quotes with you. William Arthur Ward, who was a terrific writer, educator, and well-renowned for the words that he shared from the mid-20th century on, talked about Thanksgiving this way. Said, in our own words, that gratitude can transform days into Thanksgiving, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. Let's think about what those blessings could be. In that same context, I always leave it to Oprah Winfrey to say it in a way that we can understand and it makes sense. She says, be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you'll never ever have enough. And so in turn, one of the things I ask us to do is to follow her advice and to both be thankful for what we have and to think about what it is we can give to others that can make those people's lives just a little bit better. It doesn't have to be a turkey dinner. It can be simply holding the door. It can be running an errand. It can be simply saying hello to someone you don't know. People who have been here long enough know that I associate Thanksgiving quite often with John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, when I was growing up. And this Thursday is November 22nd, which is the anniversary of his passing, November 22nd, 1963. One of his favorite quotes, for those who know it, was ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. And those who will recall when I spoke about him a couple of years ago will remember that he actually borrowed that quote from the head of the Choate School when he was a student there, who would say, ask not what your school can do for you, ask what you can do for your school. In that context, I'd like to edit it just a little bit and ask you to think of it this way. Ask not what others can do for you, ask what you can do for others. With that in mind, I ask us to take just a moment of silence in President Kennedy's memory, as well as in the memory of all those people who have passed in the last year, and particularly we've just come off of Veterans Day, and to think for just a moment about those things we can do through Thanksgiving on to make a difference. Let's take a moment. As I thank everybody for their involvement in today's assembly, and I wish you the happiest of Thanksgiving, I ask you all to please stand and sing our school song together. And when we're finished with our school song, I'll have one last comment and ask you to do things. So, as our lower school departs this way, middle school behind, and we go this way, I want to reiterate my appreciation to all those who performed. Hey guys. Hey, hold a minute. Thank you. I ask us as we leave school today to celebrate the holiday that we make an extra strong effort to say appropriate goodbyes to those around us and to reach out to make sure we enjoy ourselves. This afternoon is the senior, or are the senior junior football games up on the field. But I hope everybody stays safe and enjoys the games. They will be a lot of fun. We look forward to watching them. As we depart from the assembly, I'd appreciate it, please, and seniors, if you could lead the way. And by the way, those up in the stands there, if you'd be kind enough to take these seats, make sure the seats are put against the walls, please, and the way that they should be. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving.